We'll have a chance to hear from all of you during our questions, which we will now begin. And our first line of questioning will be coming from Senator Tester, who is joining us remotely. Welcome, Senator Tester. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman Smith and Ranking Member Lummis, and thank you for your nicety, let's just put it that way, to allow me to go in your stead. Thank you to the folks who have testified. I'm going to ask Ms. Nelmark a question first. Ms. Nelmark, have you ever heard of Boseman, Montana?
I have, yeah.
The answer is yes.
Okay, good. That's good. I was just in Boseman on Friday, and I just visited with a number of businesses there. And housing is one of the highest growth areas in the country. And housing there reflects that. Housing prices are through the roof. Rental prices are through the roof. It's created a lot of problems, homeless population. It's also created an affordability issue for people. That combined with higher interest rates, their turnover in properties isn't happening because nobody wants to give up their 3% loan, and I don't blame them. The question for you is in a high growth area, it could be Bozeman, it could be somewhere else, but a high growth area like that, can CDFIs play a role in housing, whether it's rental housing or ownership housing? And what is that role?
Thank you for that question. Yes, CDFIs can play a number of roles. We work in housing development, both multifamily and single family, property management for rental housing, and then financing for all types of housing, including manufactured housing, single family housing, et cetera.
Keep going. Sorry, keep going.
Specifically, I think the issues we've been dealing with is the large gap between rental housing and getting into for sale housing, home ownership. And we're looking for options such as manufactured housing to be able to bridge that gap, to be a stepping stone for people to start off and then work their way up towards what they would like to end up in as their home.
Okay, so a couple questions that revolve around that. Because when I met with these folks, I didn't have any really huge solutions for them that were game changers because, quite honestly, it's a big problem. Supply is a problem, and then the cost is a problem. How does a community get involved? Do they have to have a CDFI in that community to be able to make this work, or do you guys work with businesses or banks, or how do you do it so that I could tell those businesses that I talk to, look, here's who you need to get a hold of. This is how you need to start working on supply from this angle.
You know, the Minneapolis Fed has recently released research indicating that adding housing nearly anywhere along the spectrum will assist in filling the gaps because people who move into that housing will empty out housing somewhere else along the line, along the chain, and free up houses for others to move into. And so that can be filled by CDFIs at the affordable housing level and also through market rate developers at other housing levels.
Okay. From a standpoint of the policymakers that are on the roster today, the senators are in the room today. Is there more that Congress can do or the administration can do to break down barriers to allow CDFIs to do their work even better?
Yes. There's a whole list of things. Specifically for housing, to provide more base funding, as Ms. Dossman suggested, would be extremely helpful in planning and knowing where we can go to. Low-income housing tax credits is one of the by far the best tool we have to provide for affordable rental housing. And that is very difficult to get to access in rural areas in particular. The credits are in very short supply, and they tend to go to the urban areas more than anywhere else. And then the basis in rural and native areas is also lacking. So those would be a couple of areas to start with.
Okay, and then the last question, because we've only got 19 seconds left. $341 million was appropriated to CDFIs. How much is that leveraged? In other words, what is the real value of that 341 million?
It's roughly 10 times that on average.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Tester. I'll now